if you look at the way in which the organization has not necessarily been open to talk about leadership and leadership positions taking place within the public space, I think that there might be a level of insincerity in what you're saying.
It's a new organization. It's very young, Cathy. You can't want to conduct your elections the same way the ANC does, because it's very fragile. So that which can be seen as a hot contestation may be confused to a conflict, and it will destroy it. So you ought to be very careful how you deal with it, because you are dealing with a very sensitive young organization. You don't want to go all out, because you will destroy it. But there is a debate taking place internally. It's very big, and people are expressing themselves freely. You must read one of the documents of the EFF on organizational building. It says we attribute our growth and strength to democratic practices in the EFF, where branches, regions, provinces choose their own leaders without interference of the national leadership. The same happens with the national leadership. We're running a very tight ship, but internally, people express themselves freely. We slept here the other day at 2 a.m, working on the report. I'm speaking to you now, downstairs there, they are going word for word. So if it was Floyd Julius's way, these people will meet the report at the conference. Just come here. Your empty buckets, we're going to fill in these empty buckets. So why would a democratic organization even bother to account? Treasurer's report, finances, cents, rents and cents are going to be accounted for, because it's not our kitchen. It's the organization that belongs to the people.
How much of it, though, is let's have democratic processes and let's run a tight ship to the extent that I can still be in control and I can still watch over everything that's happening? So this perception that, yes, democracy does take place within the EFF, but only to the extent that you allow it.
No. When you say, no, it's internal, I can watch you over, as if when it's on Facebook, I can't watch it over. Actually, I will watch it more over when it's on Facebook and television. So it works to their favor now, because once you do the Facebookings and all of that, this one will know this is what you think about them, then they come after you and all of that.
But what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
It's wrong when you deal with a small organization. Allow the organization to grow.
Is it wrong when you're dealing with a democratic organization?
It's a young democratic organization. How you handle that democracy is going to be very important. This thing will collapse if you just allow people to smear each other. You allow people to insult each other. You allow people to even threaten the conference in public. You will kill this thing. Are we going to box each other? Yes. When? From 13th to the 16th, inside. It's only us. When we live there, we're one force, united before our people.
What happens then to freedom of expression, Mr. Malema? Because if I'm hearing you correctly, then it would mean that even for those that are members of your organization, there is a level of fear about what would happen if they express whatever issues that they are going through internally outside of the organization. And ultimately, that speaks to the extent to which, as a party, then, you are able to open yourselves up for the public to fully see what it is that they are voting into when they give you their vote.
No, every conference has got guidelines. The guidelines says these are the things you can't do to safeguard the good image of the organization. Freedom of expression, you do it internally. Leadership contestation is for internal purpose. It's not for the public. It's not general elections. It's EFF internal elections. Let it be handled like that. In the EFF, we use what we call democratic centralism. So that's how we're going to conduct our business. And even before you came through that door, you knew very well as a member, as a potential member, that I'm joining this type of an organization. If you have a problem with that, the same door you used to enter is the same door you used to go out.
What does that mean then? Because when you look at Pillar 7 of your cardinal pillars is one of openness and of transparency where the organization is concerned. So do you not think that to some extent you're limiting the extent to which you could be transparent?
Our transparency inside is not those transparency of going all out to attack the organization. The organization is going to present a report on the wall. Boom. It's going to present finances on the wall. Boom. It's going to present politics on the wall. Boom. Internally, you have all the right to critique and attack and do all types of things to hold the leadership accountable. That's why we're going to a conference. We're implementing pillar number 7 to be held accountable, transparent and accountable internally. It's not a general public. What is the use of having internal affairs if everything else can be dealt with in public? With such a young and fragile organization, such criticisms, we're not going to accept it, my sister.
So one of the things then it brings me to are those in the organization who say they've used the open platform within the organization to raise issues around yourself, around issues around leadership. And unfortunately, how they have been dealt with is that they've been kicked out of the organization.
They used what?
The internal mechanism, so internal conversation to raise whatever issues they may have at the time. And the response to them was, in fact, that if you don't like what somebody's saying, you show them the door.
It's not true. There's no one, not even a single one, who has ever been shown a door because they raised criticism internal. Not one.
How do you deal with internal strife?
We deal with it inside, we talk, we find one another. People raise issues internally, we respond to each other there, we resolve them there.
Does agreeing to issues internally mean agreeing to whatever you present on the table as a solution or as a way forward?
No, not at all. I get rejected half the time. And let's take the coalitions now. We spend time here in the evening talking to the region, Joburg, Tshwane, and the leadership of Gauteng, and the officials of the EFF. What direction should we take? I will say we go this way. The region will come and say, no, if you go that way, these are the consequences. Okay, we have to change. What about this one? Regions have inputs, and these products you see now being announced are a product of internal debate. That's all what happens. Can you imagine? I'm the one who telling people, no, in Tabazimbi, this is what you must do. In KZN, this one. I don't even know some of these places. How do I say do this, do that, without listening to the people from there? It will be madness.
So then the impression that is out there, and of course has been exacerbated by some of the videos we'll see online with you telling Buyiseni to go do this and go do that people look at and say, well, he's always been a dictator. He's got that dictatorial strain in him.
Yeah, but if that is dictatorship, then it's the lowest level of definition of dictatorship. I'm the president of this organization. Like your bosses at work, they tell you, like they told you, go and interview Malema there. This is what you do. We're at work here. I run a very disciplined type of organization. I grew up like that. My leaders told me what to do, and I obliged. I still do today. Castle Matali is my leader. If he comes as a chief, I want the following done. It doesn't matter whether he belongs to the party I lead or not. I still comply till to date. I hold microphone for Winnie Mandela at Mbuyiseni Ndlozi's graduation party in Orange Farm. I'm a president of the organization, but Winnie Mandela was my leader. When she said to me, hold the mic, she said that in front of people. I introduced her, handed over the process, hold the mic. I held the mic. They are my leaders. That's how we grew up. That's how we were brought up in the movement. So for instance, when I say to Floyd, there are cameras here. Floyd came in, is now obsessed with an article he's reading in a newspaper. It doesn't look decent. He will say the same to me, President. There are cameras. You can't read papers in front of cameras in a press conference. So people look at just such things because they are small brains. They use that to define dictatorship. I've never seen such a definition in political science of dictatorship. There's no such a thing.
It's interesting that you should bring Castle Matale up because, of course, at the time that On Point Engineering and the whole scandal around the contracts you were getting out of Limpopo, you and him were said to be part of the same cabal that was operating in Limpopo.
He was the premier. He is my brother. He's my leader. He's my cousin. So I'm with him. We never stole anything. That's why today he's a deputy minister of police. They just throw a mud at him, left him, he was never charged. But I'm giving Castle as an example. For instance, I find it very difficult to call Ace, Magashule Ace. I can't. He's the SG of the ANC. The same thing with General Bantu Olomesa. I can't say to General Bantu Olomesa, Bantu. I said to him, President. He's a president of the UDM. So we were brought up like that. And Mbuyiseni or Vuyani or any other person, when they assume this position in future, they themselves are going to find themselves in the same position I am now, where they will have to call order on certain people there and there. I mean, I walk into Alexander rally. Mbuyiseni is talking to Marshall. They saw I came in, so they start moving. But they didn't expect me to come running. So I come running, and then I beat Mbuyiseni at the back, like I'm playing with him. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, this guy is here. People then use that to say, yeah, look, this is how he treats them. Mbuyiseni, can you ask this journalist to go back? It's his job. I can't be saying, hey, journalists, move. He's a spokesperson. He must, guys, move. When I see journalists not moving, I look at him. What is this now? He is going to find himself in a similar position one day when he's the president of an organization. So the small streets minds really can't understand this type of issues.
What's the future of Dalimpofu, Advocate Dalimpofu and Godrich Gad in the EFF? What do you see as their future?
No, they're leaders of the EFF. They will continue to be leaders of the EFF. I don't see them doing any other thing except to continue to lead the EFF.
Mm-hmm. As part of the top six?
That's not my call. Because if I say that, you're going to say I'm a dictator.
Would you want them to stay on?
I won't mind them, but it's not my call. If I say I want Dali's chair, I want Dali Godrich's SG, I want Floyd, the dictator is starting to talk. So what must I do? So the best thing, let the conference decide. But one thing I know is that these are the tried and tested leaders of the EFF. And therefore, whatever happens at the conference, they will never lose their membership of leadership of the EFF.